get this done.
We are getting this done. Thank you.
President Biden up on Capitol Hill today telling Democratic senators, you just heard him say it, we're going to get this done. After lawmakers announced the deal on a $3.5 trillion spending package. Let's go back to our chief White House correspondent, Caitlin Collins. She's joining us along with CNN congressional correspondent Ryan Nobles. Ryan, you have some new details emerging right now about what's actually in this new budget package that Senate Democrats have agreed on. What are you learning?
Yeah, that's right. And there's a lot of optimism right now among Democrats about this $3.5 trillion package, but there's a long way to go before it ends up on President Biden's desk, in part because we don't know specifically what's going to be in it. So far, these budget negotiators just releasing some top-line concepts that they want to include, which are key priorities for many Democrats. Among them, some major investments in fighting climate change. Also, investments in things like universal pre-care, paid family and medical leave, as well as child care. They also want to put investment in housing, small business support, and American manufacturing. And there's also going to be significant changes to the tax code. We don't know the specifics behind this either, but based on what we're hearing Democrats say, this is going to mean tax increases on the most wealthy Americans and corporations. That's been a key priority, especially for these progressive members of both the House and Senate who've been pushing for this big package. Now, Wolf, it's important to keep in mind that $3.5 trillion is no doubt a lot of money, but progressives wanted to spend as much as $6 trillion. And so far, they've been open to finding out more about this package. The big question for them is just how much is going to be spent in each one of these areas. So far, they seem to be receptive to this package, at least in its early offering. Wolf?
All right, stand by. Caitlin, the president returned to Capitol Hill today to make the sell to rally support among Democrats. What are you hearing? How did it go?
Well, publicly, he just said he felt good to be home. Of course, he spent 3 decades on Capitol Hill as a senator. But, Wolf, we know from our reporting that behind closed doors, he was urging the Democratic Party to stay united on this process because we know that they are trying to move quickly. They'd like to get this done by August. That is going to be a significant haul for the lawmakers on Capitol Hill and for the White House being involved in that. And so that was his main message today, was trying to make sure that they are unified on this, because we know when it comes to this $3.5 trillion agreement, there are progressive members of the Democratic caucus that wanted it to be a lot higher, and there are moderates who wanted it to be a lot lower, and they cannot afford to miss a single vote on this, as they are also trying to subsequently get this bipartisan infrastructure deal passed. That is the agreement that the president outlined with several Republicans, and one that he was trying to sell this afternoon to a group of the nation's mayors and governors here at the White House. And Wolf, he said he does feel it needs to be a 2-track process. All
right, Caitlin Collins at the White House, Ryan Nobles up on Capitol Hill. Thanks very much. Let's get some more on what's going on. The independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont is joining us. He's the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee. Senator, thanks so much for joining us. So as you just heard, and as you would know a lot better than I do, this is what, some $2.5 trillion less than you and many of your fellow progressives initially wanted. What do you say to those fellow progressives who feel that maybe you gave in too easily right now?
Well, what I would say is, Wolf, number one, we are in fact looking at the most consequential piece of legislation for working families since the Great Depression. So this is a very big deal, which is going to transform the lives of many millions of Americans. Second of all, what I would simply say is I wish, that the rest of the Senate held my political views, but they don't. As I think Ryan mentioned, Caitlin mentioned, there are 50 of us in the Senate, some more conservative than others, and we have to reach an agreement. But essentially, what the framework of this bill is about is, number one, telling the wealthiest people and the largest corporations, many of whom who have avoided paying their fair share of taxes, those days are over. They're going to start paying their fair share of taxes.
Go ahead, make your second point.
Second of all, working families in this country, while the rich are getting much richer, working families are struggling. They can't afford health care, they can't afford child care, they can't afford to send their kids to college, they can't afford home health care for their parents. And we are going to, in a very significant way, address many of these crises that working families are facing. And thirdly, finally, the United States will lead the world in dealing with enormous threat to our country and the planet in terms of climate change. And when we do all of these things, we're going to create many, many millions of good-paying jobs, which we desperately need.
As you know, your Democratic colleague, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, he's a pivotal vote in all of this. It's a 50-50 Senate. He says he is, and I'm quoting him now, very, very disturbed by provisions in the deal. He believes that would eliminate fossil fuels. That's a point you're making. Are those provisions on the table if it means getting Manchin to support the whole package?
Well, let me tell you, when you're dealing with a bill as big as this, and with 50 senators from states all over this country, a lot of people are disturbed about a lot of things. There's a lot of work that has to be done. But my own view is climate change. I mean, we're seeing what's going on in the west coast of this country right now. And everything being equal, if we don't get our act together and transform our energy system, what you're seeing on the west coast, what you're seeing flooding in Detroit, in New York, it's only going to get worse. So we have to become very aggressive about combating climate change. Obviously, we have to work with all 50 Democratic senators to pass this bill.
Hovering over all of this right now is the fear of inflation. As you well know, the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell today addressed deep concerns about high inflation readings going on right now. Inflation is a really serious problem, not so much for the rich, but for the middle class and the poor. If gasoline costs $4 a gallon or $5 a gallon, rich people don't care, but middle class people do care. How concerned are you right now, Senator, about inflation?
Well, I am concerned about inflation, among many other things. As I think you know, this bill, this $3.5 trillion, and then there's another $600 billion in a so-called bipartisan infrastructure bill, will pay for itself. It'll be paid for in a variety of ways, but significantly by higher taxes on the wealthy and large corporations. So that should not add to the inflation concerns.
Because the inflation problem potentially is a huge problem. You and I remember the Jimmy Carter administration. He lost his bid for his reelection as president of the United States, in part because of the Iran hostage crisis, but also because inflation, high interest rates were really
Wolf,
devastating the U.S. at that time.
Inflation is a real concern, but what we should also be concerned about is that real inflation accounted for wages for many, many workers in this country has not gone up for almost 50 years. People are paying much more than they can afford for child care, for college, for health care, and this legislation begins to address those concerns.
All right, Senator, thank you very, very much. We obviously will continue this conversation with you